All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson on how people are trying to question whether so-called black people have got it better than so-called white people in 2022, right? And people are trying to say that Esau's got it harder, and they're trying to say that we've got it easier than them now. And that's bullshit to say it plainly in plain speech. That's bullshit. And the simplest way to prove that it's bullshit is that Esau sits around and they ask what the punishment should be for what Dave did. Right? They sit around and have debates about whether they think what they think the punishment should be for their crimes, and they'll say, oh, should it be some kind of reparations, blah blah blah. They'll say this, they'll say that. But that's the clearest sign that they are not in trouble like how we are. Because when do you ever see anybody get to sit around and debate what they think the punishment should be for something that Dave did wrong, unless you're in a position of power? This is Psalm 73 and verse 11. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, for there are no bands in their death, but the strength is firm, and Esau is wicked. Esau is the foolish, right? But they're in prosperity right now. And if people can say they're not all they want, yes, they are. If you've got aircraft carriers, tanks, and you've got a military that's worth 700 billion in the main country that your people are in charge of, right? You're in a position of power. You're in a position of power, man. What you Edomites are experiencing now, to where you think that you haven't got any power, is that people are starting to look at you wickedly for the wickedness that you do, and people are starting to speak about it. And you're calling that racism. You're calling racism people speaking about the evil that you do. That's what you Edomites are calling racism. You've did something wrong and people are speaking about it, and you somehow say that that's racism. No, that's people speaking about the wickedness that you're doing. Verse 6, this is Psalm 73 and verse 6. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, and violence covereth them as a garment, because that's what they do. Esau wears violence on his chest, man. They go over to other people's countries and they kill him. And then you've got these people out there that try and say, oh, but the Jews this, the Jews that. You idiots. The so-called black people are the Jews. I'm not a Jew, right? I'm from the tribe of Benjamin. But so-called black people are from the tribe of Judah. And those other people that are saying that they're part of the tribe of Judah, they're imposters, man. And the proof that they're imposters is, how comes they don't fit none of the prophecies? How comes they're not out in this world talking about the curses that they should be under? Because they're sinning. They're clearly sinning. They're clearly not keeping God's laws, yet they're not being punished for that. According to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 15th verse, down to the 68th verse. And we carry on reading verse 7. Their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than heart could wish, which they do. They are corrupt. They're the ones that make the laws, man. Yet people are debating whether they're wicked or not. Who's making these laws? Who's making them? Who's in charge of setting up the tax system? Who's in charge of the housing system? Who's in charge of all of these things? And people can say, oh, there's another country over there that's doing this or doing that. But who goes over to their country and tells them what ways they should be in putting their laws in, man? Who does that? Who is it that's doing this? Verse 9, they set their mouths against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. They're running around telling everybody what else they should be doing, telling people what's right, telling people what's wrong, right? Telling people to stick this medicine in them, telling people to stick that medicine in them, lying to people, deceiving people, changing history, changing what colors people look like in history to fit whatever they want it to be. And then when you catch them lying and point out what the real image is, they say it doesn't matter. Well, obviously it does, otherwise you wouldn't have lied about it, would you? Let me just jump to the point. Verse 17, Psalm 73 and 17. Until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh, then understood I their end. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castest them down into destruction, and that's what they're going to receive, man. Because after all of this wickedness that they've did, they're still going into slavery, like how we did. Just like how we went into slavery, they're going. All right. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So they're going into slavery whether they like it or not. We can all say, nah, I don't think that's right. But that's the clear point, that Esau's in power. Because if he wasn't in power, he wouldn't be getting a say in what his judgment is. Right? If I go and break into somebody's house right now, right, I'm not gonna get the chance to sit in front of the lawyer and say, I don't think I should get 5 years. I think that I should just like be given a slap on the wrist and sent packing. You don't get to say that unless you're in power. So what are people talking about, man? Just the fact that they can sit around on YouTube and hold a mic in someone's face. Do you think people should have reparations? What do you think? What do you think about it? That's the point, that fact that they're in power. Because if you wasn't in power, if you tried to even pull out a mic and pull it into someone's face, you'd be getting twisted up, man. Straight up. You wouldn't own a mic. You wouldn't own a YouTube channel. You wouldn't have the ability to do these things if you was in the position that we was once in, which we've been removed out of certain positions because Yahweh's making us be removed out, and he's going to make us be removed out even further and establish us up above everybody else on the earth. And that's what people are, that's the whole world's main fear, man. They have to pretend that they're nice people and that they don't want us to be in a jacked up position, but they know that if we wasn't in a jacked up position for all these hundreds of years, all these centuries, then they wouldn't be in the position that they're in. So they have to consider and think wisely about how they want to do this. And the ultimate way how this world's going to try and make us think that we're not in slavery is be like, well, you'll own nothing and be happy. And they're going to just dish out certain things to people. They're going to put a device in everybody's hand and everyone's forehead. And it's still going to be slavery, but the people are going to be stupid and think that they're in a good position. They're going to own nothing and be happy. But the elect of the nation of Israel ain't going for that, man. They ain't going for that doctrine. We're going for the doctrine of the Bible. This is Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 12. For thus saith Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall go altogether unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. Let me jump up verse 10, Jeremiah 49 and verse 10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and that's why now people are starting to look at these Edomites with a side eye, right? When Esau shows, they're like, oh, what's this geezer want, man? Right? They're starting to look at you sideways, and that's what you Edomites are thinking is racism. That people are starting to look at you wickedly for the wickedness that you're doing. Like, did you really think that he was going to do all of this madness and people was just going to forgive you, keep forgiving you continually? No. Obviously, that's not what's going to happen. Obviously not. And let me get a scripture on that. These Edomites have got a lot of nerve, man. And it doesn't matter how pretty you are, neither. Right? Being pretty ain't going to make you better. Is there pretty Edomite women out there? Yes. Right? But being pretty ain't going to stop you from getting the judgment that Yahweh's got ready for your ass, man. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. So of course people are going to be angry for what you devils have did, man. Of course people are going to be angry and vexed in their spirit for what you did. And you're calling that racism because people are starting to look at you sideways now for the things that you've did, because they know that the reason why you're in the position that you're in as a people is because of the things that you did. And then people say, oh, why are they committing suicide at a higher rate than if they're oppressed? Because they're demons, right? And because they're weak, and because they never thought that they was gonna have to. Let me get it, man. Let me get it. Because people, man, everyone can try and have a back and forth when it comes to anything else, but when the scriptures start coming out, that whole back and forth talk goes out the window, man. Because the scriptures say what they say. Genesis chapter 25 and verse 23. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. The Israelites are different to Esau. We've been having a struggle, man. Our nation's used to martyrdom. Our nation's used to struggling. During the time of the Egyptians, right, when the Egyptians had us in slavery, right, it was us that was there. Moses would have looked darker than me even. Paul would have been dark. All the prophets would have been dark, man. The Israelites of the Bible were dark-skinned people. And I don't understand what people that don't understand about that. What don't you get, man? Verse 23, and Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people. Jacob stronger than Esau. That's why we ain't killing ourselves. as high a rate as what Esau's doing. That's why, because Esau's weak, man. And what the main reason why these Edomites be doing themselves in is because they lose money, because they know when they don't have money that nobody don't like them. Because the only reason why people rock with Esau anyway is because there might be some money in for him, there might be a check in for it in for them. Sirach chapter 10 and verse 31: the poor man is honored for his skill. So even though Israelites are poor, we're honored for the things that we have internally more than our external things, because we ain't got the external things right now. And there might be some rapper that's got it or whatever, but look what the stupid things that he has to have to be able to do it. He has to have a damn hairstyle that looks like a mustard tree hanging out of his head. He has to have a stupid hairstyle. He has to have some weird colored hair. He has to be painting his fingernails. He has to be like some complete weirdo, man, in order to have the money. He has to wear some spaceman outfit, like how Kanye West be doing. He's got to pay homage to Esau in order to get rich like that. Because if he tries to get it any other way, Esau's going to blow the thing up, man. Straight up. Verse 30. Sirach chapter 10 and verse 30. The poor man is honored for his skill, and the rich man is honored for his riches. So when an Edomite loses their riches, they like, man, I'm out. I'm done with this world. That's the main reason why they do themselves in, man. When an Edomite's just rich behind their wildest dreams and they've got that going, they ain't trying to do that. Because that's what makes them get glory. Verse 31, he that is honored in poverty, how much more in riches? So that's talking about us. But we ain't even rich right now, and people are still praising us for certain things that we do. But at the same time being jealous and at the same time hating us, which these people are insane, man. This world is insane. And he that is dishonorable in riches, how much more in poverty? And these Edomites are dishonorable in their rich state that they're in right now. So how much more are they going to be hated and despised when they don't have those riches, man? When all the aircraft carriers are gone, all the guns, all the AK-47s, all the bullets, all of that, all the rail guns, because you Edomites have got that, which proves that you're the Edomites. What the hell kind of, that used to be some stuff that you'd see on Earthworm Jim. You know what I mean? That's some video game stuff, but these Edomites literally have made rail guns. So that's the proof that they're Esau, man. They've made rail guns. A rail gun. When people are trying to doubt who Esau is, I think it's the Arabs. No, it's not no Arabs. Because the Arabs will be one of the first one that they might laying down with that rail gun, man. Which really they're making these things for the Yahweh and the Yahweh Shai and the angels anyway. But them things are gonna get dodged anyway, man. They ain't gonna be able to do nothing with those things. And let me get this scripture. Yeah. These people be debating about whether they should get punished or not. I don't think that's a righteous punishment. I feel like debates, sitting around asking, having debates on YouTube, comfortable with waters on the table, on the coffee table, coffees on the side, sitting around on the news, right, with their TV station of their own, questioning people that their ancestors destroyed, and sitting around with microphones asking what they think the punishment should be. Sitting around with just them among themselves, even in some cases, about what they think the judgment should be. But where do you ever get to do that? If you're not unless you're in power. Sirach chapter 41 and verse 7. The children will complain of an ungodly father because they should be reproached for his sake. And that's why these Edomites nowadays are complaining. They're saying, it wasn't, but no one alive did it today. Well, you're still getting a benefit from it, though, aren't you? You're still getting a benefit from it. So you Edomites shouldn't really even be sellouts to your own people, man. Because without your people doing that stuff, you wouldn't be where you are right now. So you should be rocking with them, which secretly you are anyway. And eventually, when you start losing all your riches, that demon that's in you, you know, the demon that you people know that you have in you, it's going to come out and you're going to show exactly who you are. But the elect to the nation of Israel, we already know who you are, man. We've been woken back up again. Our minds have been cleansed again for us to see exactly who you people are, man. We see exactly who you people are. We don't find you trustworthy. We don't find you honest. We view you as counterfeits. Let me get this scripture, because this scripture that I'm about to read right now shows that all the talk about your reparations and all that don't mean nothing, man. Yahweh has decided what's going to be the judgment for you devils. Numbers chapter 35 and verse 33. She shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Simple as that. The only way for this world to be cleansed for all the blood that's been shed of my people, right, which are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, The only way that that blood can be cleansed is by the same blood of the people that shed it being shed. And Yahweh Shai is going to do that. Yahweh Shai is going to be the one to come and do that. Yahweh Shai and the angels. Now, on that note there, I'm going to say all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Makar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. Shalom.